Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Max Velocity weather forecast. And in today's forecast, we'll be talking about a storm that's on the horizon that could revive winter across the United States. Now, over the past couple of weeks, we've had well above average temperatures for the majority of the country, but that could be changing as we go into early next week, as there's a storm that'll pose the potential for some snowfall and as well as colder weather for much of the country. In addition to this, we'll be talking about a storm that'll be impacting the Midwest and the Northern Plains over the next 2 days. It'll bring snowfall and a threat of even a couple of tornadoes. I'll be giving you the latest breakdown on everything that you need to know in this forecast, and let's begin with what's happening right now in the United States, and we'll begin with this atmospheric river event that has now moved into the Great Plains. Notice that there is a lot of cloud cover across areas in the southern and central plains back into the Midwest, and this is a lot of moisture right now that's coming out of the Pacific Ocean, and that is all leading to some showers, even maybe an isolated thunderstorm back up in Nebraska today. In addition to this, the low pressure center is back up here in North and South Dakota. And what this is going to do over the next 24 hours is going to be pretty interesting. First off, it's going to bring snow to the Rocky Mountains and as well as areas near Montana and North Dakota. On the flip side of things, we'll be watching for the threat of severe weather in a pretty small area back over in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa that could bring the chance for an isolated tornado or two tomorrow, which just sounds absolutely bananas for early February. That just does not happen very often at all in areas like the Midwest, and we'll be having more details on that later in this forecast, so make sure that you stay tuned. And then back over on the east coast of the United States, it is fairly dry overall. A couple of clouds maybe back up in the northeast, but back in Florida and all the way up the east coast, for the most part, it's sunny, dry, and pretty warm, honestly, for a lot of these areas for this time of the year. All right, let's talk more about the weather pattern that'll be impacting the United States over the next several days, and we're actually going to check out the temperature anomalies to check out the weather pattern. The temperature anomalies essentially tell us whether the weather is going to be above average or below average when it comes to temperatures in certain parts of the country. So the orange and red represents above average, and then blue is below average. And notice this as we go into Thursday morning, that's tomorrow. We have a lot of warmer air across much of the eastern tier of the United States back over into the northeast. We'll have a chance of record-breaking high temperatures in the Midwest tomorrow. Some areas will get into the low 60s. It is just unbelievable for this time of year. We're talking about low 60s back over in the Midwest. So enjoy it while it's there, because you're going to get a very early taste of spring here in the month of February, which is just really weird. Once we go into late Thursday into Friday, this low pressure system will start to move out to the east. This will have some colder air on the backside of it, but overall, it's not going to be much. It's going to be very minimal cold air. We're going to see temperatures drop a little bit, but overall, we're only going to get back to average really for much of the Midwest going into Friday and as well as into Saturday. Notice by Friday into Saturday, that warm air all will start to basically impede the northeast and as well as the east coast, where well above average temperatures will be possible. Back to normal, maybe slightly below average as we go into Sunday. Then we'll be watching for a storm to develop back down in the southern plains. This could actually bring some snow. It might revive winter a bit for parts of the country, while the other maybe northern tier of the country goes back closer to spring-like weather, quote unquote. But look at this as we go into Sunday. We're actually going to get a pretty large cold air mass that will develop across the southern plains and back through the Rocky Mountains. This is pretty key because this will bring some really cold temperatures to areas in the southern plains for this time of the year. We'll have high temperatures in areas like Texas and Oklahoma drop back into the 30s, 40s, and 50s, with low temperatures as low as the 20s in some areas as we go into Monday morning. By Tuesday, this low pressure system will move into the northeast, and all that cold air will be right behind it. It'll be basically tailing behind it, moving through areas in the Dixie Alley and the Ohio Valley. By Wednesday, that cold air mass starts to kind of fizzle out. It's not going to last very long, especially for areas in the southern plains. That cold air is only really going to be there from Sunday into Monday. It's not going to be there like an Arctic blast that might be sitting there for like a week. This is only going to sit there for maybe about 48 hours, and then it's going to be out of there, and we'll return right back to average temperatures for much of the United States. And then after that, things become a bit more uncertain in terms of what the weather pattern will be beyond Wednesday of next week. Now, the actual temperatures are pretty interesting. This is as we go into Thursday afternoon. Again, notice low to mid 60s will be possible as far north as areas near St. Louis. Central Missouri will be in the mid 60s, which again is just crazy for this time of the year. We'll be back near 80 degrees in South Texas going into tomorrow afternoon. By Friday into Saturday, that cold air mass will start to basically siphon into areas in the Midwest and as well as the northern plains. And then eventually, as we go into Sunday morning, one of the colder mornings that we've had thus far over the course of February will invade into areas like the Midwest and the northern plains. By Monday morning, temperatures will drop into the 20s and 30s for much of the southern plains, even near the Gulf Coast coast will get close to 39, and then by Tuesday morning, things start to warm back up across the southern tier of the United States. Meanwhile, the Northeast will start to go back down in terms of temperatures. Now, the Climate Prediction Center between Tuesday of next week until Saturday of the following weekend currently forecasting a high likelihood of below normal temperatures anywhere in the blue shaded area. The highest likelihood will be back down in Florida, but even areas like Texas and back through the Northeast do have a higher likelihood, and then the Midwest will be above average most likely in terms of temperatures. Now, the weather is going to take a very interesting turn over the next several days. This is all because we have multiple storms that are coming to the United States, and these will all pose various threats, including the threat of severe weather, snow, and much more. So let's break down what's upcoming here across the United States on the future radar, and we will begin with tomorrow, and that is where we actually have a low pressure system back up in the northern plains. This will be bringing some snowfall to areas from the Rocky Mountains all the way back into Montana and North Dakota, where a few inches of snow will fall. Once we go into Thursday afternoon into the evening, we will be watching for the threat of severe weather, and again, I'll be talking about more detailed stuff on this here in about 2 minutes, so stay tuned. And then further up here to the north, we'll be talking again about snow from North Dakota back through Canada. Most of that snow will move out of the United States no later than Friday morning. We'll also be watching for a couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm back down in the southeast as we go into Friday afternoon. By Saturday, our next storm will develop back down in the southern plains. This initially will bring some showers and a few thunderstorms from Texas back into Tennessee and maybe even into Kentucky. By the time we go into Saturday afternoon and evening, those showers and storms primarily will be impacting areas from Louisiana back into Tennessee. By Sunday morning, we'll be watching for that low pressure center to really start to crank up and develop, and this will bring the chance for some snow across areas like Texas as well as Kansas and the Oklahoma Panhandle, in addition to perhaps even a few isolated severe storms back through central and east Texas. By late Sunday, we'll be watching for that snow to move across Oklahoma. Exactly where this snow falls and how much snow falls is still a little bit uncertain, but there is growing confidence that there will be some sort of winter storm beginning back down in Texas and Oklahoma and then moving to the east. Once we go into late Sunday into Monday, we'll be watching for showers and thunderstorms in the southeast. Again, I'm not ruling out some severe weather down in the Dixie Alley. By Monday, most of the showers and storms are moving across areas along the East Coast by early Monday morning. This is 9 a.m. So notice some showers and storms from Florida back through South Carolina and North Carolina. And during the afternoon and evening, we'll have to watch for a redevelopment of this particular storm with the snowfall. We could even get a snowstorm back up in areas like the Northeast, but again, how much snow falls, exactly when it falls, and exactly who sees snow are still really uncertain right now. Even though it shows snow for most of New England, this could easily change, so make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. We'll keep you posted with the latest as these details become more clear, but I do want to show you that there is a probability of seeing greater than 1 inch of snowfall for much of the United States. This is the European ensemble, giving you an idea of what the percent chances of seeing greater than 1 inch of snow. And notice for areas in southern Missouri, back through the Texas Panhandle, and even into central and northern Oklahoma, the European ensemble is giving about a 50 to 75% chance for many areas. So the chances are increasing, but keep note, it's not 100% chance. So obviously with a 50% chance, that means if you flip a coin, it's either going to hit or it's not going to hit, right? So that's basically what we're talking about here. And then once we go into Monday into Tuesday, the probabilities in the Northeast of seeing greater than 1 inch of snowfall are slightly higher, closer to 60 to 70% chances in some areas. But again, it is still a bit of uncertainty exactly how much snow we'll see and where we will see snow. And even with that being said, I think a lot of areas would see a lot more snow than 1 inch with this particular storm. And that's obviously something to keep in mind with the ensembles as well. And believe it or not, there is a threat of severe weather in the Midwest on Thursday, which is tomorrow. That's tossing trampolines on tall trees Thursday. We do have a marginal threat of severe weather from southern Wisconsin back through northern Illinois and eastern Iowa. I wouldn't be surprised if this risk does expand a little bit, so keep that in mind. In terms of timing tomorrow, by lunchtime, mostly just some showers passing by. As moisture and instability grows, if we get enough moisture, we'll definitely have a chance for a few severe storms. This is by 5 to 6 o'clock. We'll be watching this area back up in western and southern parts of Wisconsin, and as well as this area back over in central and northern Illinois for the particular chance of seeing the potential for an isolated severe storm or two. Isolated damaging winds, large hail, perhaps a brief tornado while possible. This is by 7 to 8 o'clock. Storms move across the Great Lakes, and all that storm activity will be non-severe as we go past sunset tomorrow. So a little after 6 to 7, the severe weather threat will start to die down. By the way, we just released a limited edition Max Velocity 100,000 subscriber hat over on shopmaxvelocity.net. The link to this will be in the top of the description. It's only available until next Monday, so make sure you get it right now. Shopmaxvelocity.net, the link is at the top of the description. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you've not already.